So this is a silkscreen, and the process of printing has to do with putting the screen onto this press. It's called an octopus because it has multiple arms. When I was little, I didn't see an artist as an option for a future. When you bring the screen down onto the table, you pull a squeegee full of ink across it, and then the image comes out on the shirt or the poster. Definitely not for a career. I think when I was little, I saw myself as being a regular worker and a janitor or a cleaner or a mail lady or I don't know, something like that. And then you just switch colors and then bring down the next color and then switch colors and then bring down the next color. My name is Nancy Hernandez, and I try to create art that has a relevance in a movement for social justice. A lot of the things that I've worked on have been large-scale murals or mural projects that a lot of people from the community are a part of, and also I like to silkscreen, make posters, make t-shirts, make things that can visually show what people are thinking about. As my identity of my career and my role in the community, I've always been a teacher and an activist. So I got a job at June Jordan School for Social Equity, and I really wanted to teach ethnic studies, but there was no jobs teaching ethnic studies, so I took a job as an art teacher, and then I spent 3 years teaching art. And through that, I was really able to incorporate the ideas of popular education and the pedagogy that I learned through ethnic studies at SF State and use that in a classroom in a real setting. I got more exposure and experience with art, and then I was also working at Homies organizing the mission to empower youth for about 10 years. And while working there, I really got to see the impact that art can have on young people, because I got to teach an after-school silkscreening class. And the population of students that came to the after-school class, a lot of them kind of dog each other and don't want to be in the same room at all, but they wanted to learn how to make their own t-shirts. So we used that as a way to say, okay, you want to make a t-shirt? Well, come to this program, do some political education, learn about your culture, your shared history, your ancestors. You want to be proud to be La Raza? Okay, fine, you're proud, tight. Make a t-shirt that says how proud you are, not about hating on somebody else. Use this as a tool of empowerment for you to be able to make money and not follow in the footsteps of other people in your family who've gotten locked up. I like the kind of meditation and the repetitiveness of printing something over and over again. I like to create things that I can give away. I like to make bandanas that people will wear that have some message on it that unifies a whole bunch of different people that are all thinking a similar thought. In my lifetime, I think I printed over 5,000 bandanas, so many different actions, and then we'll make 500 at a time so that everybody has people of color against war across their face, or people have young folks against the gang injunction, or whatever the message is that we've all decided on for that action. And then instead of just 400 people marching down the street together, it's like 400 people that all have the same slogan written across their face or across their arm or wherever they choose to wear their bandanas. It's been really cool to be able to see them throughout the rest of my life. Like, people have sewn them onto shirts or onto backpacks, or they pop up over and over again, and it's really cool to think, I made that when I see somebody walking down the street wearing a t-shirt or wearing some piece of fabric that I silkscreened. Right now we're on Broadway and 21st in downtown Oakland, and we are in front of the water rights mural that was painted here last summer, and it took a month to paint. It's about 5,000 square feet. We had over 200 volunteers help to paint it, and it was a collaboration between a bunch of different artists and community members and local business owners that all contributed to make it possible. So at the end of the project, we should have 10 different murals in 10 different cities, different countries, and all places that people are working daily to improve the water conditions for future generations. So we've already finished one in Los Angeles, one in Oakland, one in Hawaii, one in the Philippines, and one in the Gaza Strip in Palestine. And a lot of the content and ideas have to do with different things people see going on about water. So the emergence of the water that begins on the top right corner it's coming out of a pipe. And we painted it like that because a lot of the young people that we were working with have a relationship with water where water comes from a pipe. The main characters in the mural were painted by Estria and Vogue, and they were up on top of this huge boom lift that had them 30 feet up in the air. They painted images of two young people that actually are cultural workers here in the Bay Area, and they're real people, but we painted them 40 feet tall, so they're kind of larger than life. They're both acting as agents of change in the mural. We have them portrayed doing something, portraying young people of color as kind of heroes in the environmental movement is a little different than the way that the environmentalist movement is sometimes portrayed. One of the things that I've learned through this mural project is that the majority of our body is water. And I think that that's also directly related to the planet. The majority of the planet is water. So I think there's like 75% of the Earth's surface that's covered in water. But I think a lot of people think, well, we don't really need to fight for water because there's so much of it. But in the reality, the majority of the water on the planet is salt water. So that means it's undrinkable for us. Less than 2% of the Earth's water is accessible. But then in this generation, in this past 2 generations, we've polluted over half of that. So that means that only 1% of all the water that exists on the planet that we can get to that's not held up in a glacier or that's not held up in the ocean, only 1% of that water is clean and drinkable water. One of the things that we're painting about in San Francisco and that we've painted about in Oakland have to do with what we can do right now and what we can do in urban areas to change the way things are. So we're hoping that public art can be a way to call attention to the different concerns and conditions that are going on around water in different places. I really like that I get to live my life in a way that I can choose to make things better with my time.